we hear from Engineer Bert Dalusan. Ano to?
Mabilis.
Well, we still have time, so...
I have no presentation, but I was looking at the media. Ang daming technical, no po? Maraming technical. Ipapaliwanag ko ng napakasimple para alam na alam ninyo. Yung sinasabi ng mga kaibigan ko dito, I fully support yung kanilang intentions and projects. Kaya lang may sinabi sila na medyo sinabi ko mga moderator. Pag naririnig ko yung intermittent with reference to solar, natitrigger ako eh. Bakit? Kasi yung solar, hindi intermittent. Ano ibig sabihin ng intermittent? Random, patay hindi mo alam na kung ano mangyayari. Sa Pilipinas, I always say there's only one intermittent resource and those are baseload coal and gas power plants. Bakit? Kasi in Luzon, all of the red alert and yellow alert are caused by forced outages of baseload power plants. So ano yung intermittent na yun? Pag ba hating gabi, we expect solar? We don't. According to the grid metrics, yung solar and wind are variable and predictable, not intermittent. Anyway, klaro na po, no? Hindi intermittent yung solar. Pati wind, hindi intermittent. I look at the data, ang ganda ng kurba ng generation profile sa Western, yung solar, perfect. Ganyan, normal curve. Anyway, I'd like to talk about hydro. Nung una po ako nasa DOE, Ministry of Energy noon, hindi DOE, 1982, lahat po kayo hindi pa pinanganak. 99% ng Mindanao hydro. Sabi nga, 99%. Napakamura ng hydro. Today, it's 3 pesos per kilowatt hour or below. Yung sinasabi nila hydro. Ano naging problema ng Mindanao na? The nature of hydro is, it is seasonal. Pag summer, kulang yung hydro. Puro brown out. So kahit na mura at malaki, seasonal. Seasonal. Kaya maraming oil power plant sa Mindanao. Nung araw, in the 80s, medyo taas na yung oil, pero hindi kasi taas na yun. Nakita nyo na yung sistema, ang dami nating hydro, kulang pag summer, kaya tayo maraming oil. Noong 2006, ganyan, actually 1990s nagsimula sa Luzon. Coal na tayo, bakit? Mura at reliable. Mura ba? Hindi, di ba? Pinakita na ni Bensay, napakamahal. Bakit mahal? Kasi hindi mo alam kung ano yung presyo. Bakit? Kasi pag tumaas yung presyo ng coal, nandun na sa bill mo, wala nang hiring-hiring ng ERC. Automatic fuel pass-through, pass-along tawag namin. Meron ganyan. Pati sa gas, ganyan. Okay. So, nung naglagay kayo ng coal, nadali na kayo ng pass-along. No? Pero meron pa rin kayong hydro. So, balik natin. Ano na yung future? Maganda yung sinasabi ni Engineer Dongay. In fact, ginagawa na yan, pump storage sa Manila. Noong pong 1980s, may nuclear tayo, di ba? Nuclear. Anong capacity nun? 620 megawatts. Anong peak demand ng Luzon Grid? 3,000 megawatts. 20%. Napaka-laki for a single plant. I'm an energy planner. I know na ang kailangan ng grid, maximum 10% per unit. So ano yung naging way para mapaandar mo yung nuclear power plant in the plant? Naglagay ka ng pump storage hydro Kalayaan. 2 by 150 megawatt, 300 megawatts. Noon, ang Pero ngayon, 4 units na yun, 600 megawatts na. Yan yung sinasabi ni engineer. Proven na po yan sa Luzon, yung pump storage hydro. So, balik natin. Paano na yung Mindanao? Ang daming hydro. Matagal nang hindi na rehab. Bakit? Malaki pala yung okay yung kita doon sa coal. Sino yung may risk? Media kayo, di ba? Sino ang may risk ng pagtaas ng presyo ng coal? Yung bang gumawa ng coal? Yung bang nagbebenta ng kuryente? Hindi. It's the consumer. No? Consumer. Ba't nila nilipat sa consumer lahat ng risk? Di ba? Okay. So, tinatanong ko lang yung siguro dapat tanongin nyo rin. Anyway, tingnan natin. So, sa Mindanao, rehab natin yung average ko lang din. Tama. So, ma-upgrade mo yung, ma-increase mo yung capacity. Kanina, mga sinabi nila yung mga octillion, hindi yan po yung, Ang problema po sa ganyan, hindi natin ma-relate. Nung araw, pag gagawa ka ng solar, 1 hektarya mo, less than 1 megawatt. Recently, ang rule of thumb, 1 hectare, 1 megawatt. Today, 1.5, 1.6 megawatts na. No? In the future, nakita ko na yung technology, siguradong 2 megawatts per hectare na. Pababa. So, yung lahat ng mga sinabi dito, tama yun. Tama yun. Pero, do not forget, ang laki-laki nung resource nyo, Lake Lanao, pwede gawing pump storage pala, hindi ko alam yan. Pag ginawa nyo pump storage, ang dami nyo ngayon magagawang ma-absorb na solar. So, hindi na madi-dispatch, yung na kailangan i-dispatch, yung call na nakita nyo doon. No? Tapos, kanina sinabi ni Bensay, ay nababawasan na yung committed power plant. Committed. Ibig sabihin niyan, ay wala nang kontrata. Mawawala na kami ng kuryente. Mali. Napakamali. May WESM na sa Mindanao. Wholesale. Hindi niyo ba alam ang mura ng WESM ngayon? Mura yung WESM ngayon. So what kung wala silang kontrata? Mura naman yung WESM. Di ba? Dapat babantayan natin yung planning ng mga distribution utility. Ano ba yung ipapalit mo ng new capacity? Magkano ba yan? Unang-una po, sigurado po ako, hindi nila alam kung magkano. Bakit? Kasi yung fuel cost hindi fixed, it is a formula. Parating depende sa presyo. Yung LNG, mas mahal pa sa coal. Ganun din, depende sa presyo. So, I think, importante sa media, meron kayong general understanding ng history. Ganda-ganda nung idol natin, kaya lang, pag summer, mahina. Kaya oil. Palitan natin dagdagan natin yung coal, mahal pala. Intermittent pala. Isa pala yung intermittent. Pero ang gusto pong gawin, coal, bakit? Ang dali pong gawin. Power plant ka lang yung engineering of a pump storage and construction, civil works, medyo matagal. Matagal kita. Buti pa yung coal, mabilis kita. So, yan lang po ang aking comment. I would happy to get yung response from you. Salamat po.
Thank you, Engineer Bert.
9 minutes sa mga
Yeah, sobra ng 1 minute siya. Which gives us more time for questions and discussions. Siyempre, aware tayo dun sa kailangan meron kayong makuhang storya. So, let's use this time. Tapos yung iba pa, yung mga detalye ng pwede natin pag-usapan yan later, if you can still stay. Yung deep dive into yung energy. No? Mamaya natin gawin. Pero for now, let's focus on the propositions na sinasabi natin dito ngayon. Ang suma lang naman nun, definitely coal and oil is not the way. Exciting yung prospects ng pump storage dito. It can bring down costs. It will be more secure and cleaner. No? Pero kailangan nating bantayan. Yung sinasabi, while transitioning, ano ang plano ng distribution utilities? Especially there is this opportunity in the wholesale electricity spot market na pwede sila mag-access. So kailangan tanungin natin sila. Saan nyo ba balak bumili ng kuryente? Kasi habang ginagawa na yung transition. So may nakita ko, si JP, nakita ko na, tapos si, ayan, so 1, 2, 3. Tapos, ano po so please, pakilala lang ng konti para sa, well, actually mostly keyboard.
Sir, good morning. Jan Paul Balsopia, Radio Web Broadcasting, TOPC members. Somebody knows using solar energy have a positive impact. But the biggest problem facing in our country, poverty, the big lack of job, corruption, and poor governance. These factors are often compounded by major challenges in our environment. So, I would like to add reaction regarding this concern.
So, if I got it correctly, ang gusto natin i-address ay yung ibang larger issues of poverty, environment, etc. Tama? Sige. Bago po natin pasagutin yung panel, maybe we can ask si Joanna.
Hi, good morning. My question is for Engineer Alberto Villasmus. Bert, Sir Bert, sorry. Not Alberto.
Bert lang.
Oh, Bert lang. Sir, I was listening to your discussion, I mean, from the discussion of Engineer Dungay regarding the solar ocean pump storage, which is already existing in Metro Manila. Now, based on my little research, there are consequences for this kind of the solar ocean pump storage, one of which is the high initial cost, the dependence on the water condition, and the need for the significant storage solutions. So how are we going to address this one, considering the market with regards to the energy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joanna. Kunin muna po natin yung mga tanong and then yung ating mga panelists. Sir Mark.
Good morning, everyone and panelists. Two questions. First for Engineer Dungay. Unsa na status ka lang sa Agus Bulangin Rehab anata na phase, and then for Sir Bensay, katong 50-50 nga mix, how realistic will be matching by 2030 nga mag-change administration man by 2028? Thank you.
Sige po. Yun muna yung first round. Tapos ang second round natin ay si Menzi, tapos si Irene. Second round kayo Sige, mga sir. Sir Bert.
Sige. Ang masasabi ko lang dun sa una, yung poverty and so on, kaya nga maganda yung jobs nandito sa atin. Pag in-import mo yung coal, wala kang jobs. Meron ko lang dun sa planta. Pag ang ginawa mo, yung project ni engineer, yung civil works and so, ang daming trabaho. No? I'd also like to respond to the next question, yung cost. Whatever it is, they'll do a proper feasibility study. And that cost, you will know. Ano yung sinabi ko kanina? Yung cost ng coal, hindi mo alam. Kasi yung fuel, hindi mo alam yung cost. LNG, ganun din. Hindi mo rin alam. No? Lahat ng risk pinapasa sa consumer. So, yun lang. Kung ano man yung cost, pag maganda yung feasibility study ni Engineer Dongay, ay yun yung cost. Alam mo.
Yung weather
Regarding the foremost problem we have now, of course, we understand poverty, is a key issue that is actually troubling the government. And in fact, when the proposal of ours, the Agus Pulangi Hydro Plant, was exposed that it is planned to be mass based on. Now, if it is mass based on, there is a sharing of opportunity to a larger member of the society. For example, we put it in exact form and comparisons, statistical data. 2% of the people in the Philippines owns 50% of the wealth. 10% of the people of the world own 76% of the wealth of the whole world. Now let's go to the 2%. What if we are going to expand the 2% ownership to 20%? 2 to 20%. At the present annual average income of 100,000 pesos per person. Once the 20% is achieved, the 20% will have additional income from 100,000 to 250,000. So it will increase 250%. So therefore, it will lead to the narrowing of the inequitable society, narrowing the gap between the rich and the poor. Kasi at least marami nang makakuha ng bigger, ownership of this plant. So that's the beauty of mass-based ownership, which actually caused attraction by the Office of the President, which directed the Department of Energy to study and come up with the support. That's why we were required to present the project last January 8. And after that, we had positive response from them. Okay, please pursue this project, come up with the studies. Tama yun, kailangan ng studies. Now, we have already completed the studies, and we have submitted that last Monday, September 22. 3 days ago. It's already with the PPP Center. Now, regarding the specific cost like pump storage, wala namang project na free. Now, normally, those power plant that requires least variable cost are expensive, capital intensive. Mahal talaga yun. Making a hydro is not easy as making a diesel plant. You can come up with a diesel plant in 8 months to 1 year. Mayroon ang diesel plant. You can come up with a gas turbine power plant in 6 months. But these are very, very expensive. While in hydro, the average construction cost of hydro even 10 years ago was about $3.5 million per megawatt. Pero sa coal, it's only about $800,000, $900,000 per megawatt. So mura. Pero pag i-operate mo, you have to burn imported energy. Sabi ni Bert, hindi natin makuha yun, predict yun. Very volatile ang cost. But here, in renewable energy like pump, hydro storage, or hydro, basta renewable, medyo mahal.
Sa umpisa lang.
Umpisa lang. But makuha niyan, it will gather more ground support and it will spark a lot of advantage to the society. Regarding the third question, what is the status of Agus Pulangi project now. Just to give you the milestone, last May 2024 until September 2024, we had 4 major grassroots support. What are these 4? First, Mindanao Power Summit in Iligan on May 31, 2024. We presented this project. Immediately after my presentation, 400 people signed a manifesto to post the project, implement the project. Another 2 months after, it increased, spiral to 21,259 signatures. Okay. That's Mindanao Power Summit. Second, Mindanao Development Authority, when we presented this project, sabi niya, maganda itong mass base. Pero ay dagdagan natin, gawin siguro natin, we can term it also as democratized ownership. So there is an opportunity for anybody to own this plant. Then, some term it as community ownership. Actually, nandiyan na yun sa CDE cooperative. Parang mass base, parang kagaya sa Coop. Now, after that developments last year, the Office of the President directed DOA to hear us. We presented the project January 8 at Energy Center, attended by 40 executives of DOA and PISAM. On our side, Greenergy was supported by USTP scientists and engineers. We have 5 PhD in engineering, mechanical, electrical, civil, environmental. So they were with us. I was also supported by 7 people, Agos plant managers who are veterans operator who knows the problem of the hydro plant. They know the nuts and the bolts. So we confidently presented the project. After that, they told us, complete the study and submit. Last Monday na submit na namin. In the case of PISAM, the owner of the plant, we had an agreement first that we start with rehabilitation. We changed the program. We changed the scheme. Rehabilitate, operate, maintain. Then last May 21, because of the positive development, we signed an agreement. I signed an agreement representing Greenergy, while PISAM was represented by its president, Dinis de la Serna. We signed the NDA on May 21 this year. So it could jumpstart the studies and evaluation of the project until finally we came up with that final evaluation proposal, feasibility studies on rehabilitation, etc. So that's the status now.
So, klaro lang, the unsolicited proposal was submitted last Monday sa PPP Center. Sagutin ko lang
yung 50, the feasibility of 50 by 2030, tama? Tama, Mike?
Based sa data i-presenta ko, Mark, ang committed projects for RE in Mindanao na nasa around 1,000 megawatts. Ang target ng nato is 1,005. So, kay 3,000 man ang naramantay 1,004 karon na existing. Then by 2030, ang projected demand sa Mindanao is 6,000. So for you to reach 50-50, so you have 1,000 o 3,000. Naramantay na bangko nga 1,300 more or less. So 1,005 to 1,007, ang committed na funding 1,000 plus katong mga 500 nga indicative if ma-approve na siya, mapandingan, kaya na to. At di na dugangan ang coal plants. Kaya naman nato nga mugo all the way renewable ta. Now, a very short comment on poverty. Now, we did a study in 2021 with Peace and Equity Foundation. Ang mga probinsya sa Mindanao nga walay access sa kuryente are the poorest. Wala sila access sa basic services, health, education, housing. Wala sila access there. They're the poorest. Now, anong gastat ang growth sa atong industry and business tungkol sa taas kayo nga kuryente? Dili expand atong industries because of taas ang kuryente. Oro Chamber did a study in December last year. One of the top 5 nga problema sa business is taas kay nga kuryente. Now, if we lower down the price, it will boost our economy, it will create jobs, and it will reduce poverty.
Thank you. Si Mency, si Irene, tapos si Sir Froilan. Tapos, we'll close it, pero over lunch, I will distribute the panelists para kung gusto nyo mag-interview habang kumakain. Pwede. Okay po? Sige. So, Mency, Irene, and Sir Froilan.
Thank you po, Sir Francis. Si Engineer Dongay, nag-start naman din siya sa iyang green energy. And, Sir, saan ito pag-convince sa mga investor to invest here in Mindanao, particular na in Northern Mindanao, if natungan ba ning based sa balaod nga katong sa ato sa renewable energy nga tagaan sa incentive ang mga investor nga mo invest din sa ato. Tapos follow up how to reach out sa to ang mga barangay level nga mga katawhan katong murag mo sila yata engineer ang pinakadaghan nga mga user nato ani puhon kay karon nagsalig pamangitaan ng coal plant. So unsaon ni siya para mo reach out og masabta nila nga dako kay advantage pagka mao ni nga mga renewable energy ang imong gamiton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mency. Irene.
Based on the presentation, may gusto ko lang klaruhin paano maging secured in the future. Kasi based on the presentation, halimbawa, yung Agos Pulangi Hydroelectric Complex sa Iligan, and then Pulangi, until Maramag Bukidnon to Quezon. Iba naman ang estilo sa Maramag Bukidnon kasi gumawa sila ng man-made river, yung Fisco, kinuha yung nilagyan ng tubig, tapos yung original river, naka-standby lang. So, pwede ba yun sa hybrid? Unang tanong, pwede ba yun sa hybrid? Yung sa pumping? Na, kasi hindi siya napupuno ng tubig yung original river. Pero yung man-made river, yung Fisco, dinaanan ng system para sa electric, doon yung tubig. Pero pag may bagyo, nilalagay nila ang tubig from man-made river to original river na pwedeng lagyan siya ng pumping. Pwedeng i-develop sa sinasabi ninyong hybrid. Pero may tatanungan ako kasi yung kontrata mag-i-end by 2031 sa coal. Tama ba? Oo, by 2031. Nakita ko sa PAI, 50% pa rin kahit papasok yung hybrid, di ba? So by 2031, mawawala yung kontrata, ibig sabihin, 50% of the pie ang ipupuno ng hybrid. Ibig sabihin ba nun, dagdagan ang Agos Pulangi Hydroelectric Plant o yung sinasabi mong rehabilitation, kasi yung rehabilitation ay hindi magdagdag. I-rehab yung Agos Pulangi Hydroelectric Plant sa ngayon. So, yung part ba ng study mo ay
because of sediment, due to the lack of activity sa mga agricultural projects in upstream portion of the river. Sedimentation is very heavy. It did not bear their forecast did not even happen in 10 years, but earlier. It happened in 6 years. Earlier. So by 1990, puno na. Hindi na magamit. Instead of 1994.
Hindi ba kaya treatment?
O, hindi na magkuana. Wala nang purpi. So Pulangi is converted to like a run off the river. Wala nang impounding capacity. So today.
Pero sa dakwa, wala tayong imuon bagong nga dama nga power plant.
Existing na.
Existing
It's
lang.
rehab lang.
Rehab lang.
Merong tanong
sir. Ang Agos. O, tapos to.
Well, Agos will to replace some component, like for example, some turbines which are not efficient.
Capacity, sir?
Yung capacity, yung nameplate capacity is 7 to 7 megawatt. 7 to 7 megawatt, but its firm capacity is only 500 megawatt. So we need to improve that.
So the two would be giving only 40% of the Mindanao electricity grid?
Yes.
40?
Now, yeah.
The rest is coal.
The rest is coal. That's why, during our last meeting, in this time of meeting,
Not even 40, bro. Not even 40.
Pila.
I'll give you the exact data.
Sige po. Merong hanging question si Menzi. I think we'll address that. And then, again, sasuggest ko po, you occupy separate tables para yung may mga follow-up question pwedeng gawin. The question is, ano yung incentives na binibigay natin sa mga katulad na projects, at saka how can we reach out, or how can the barangays or the sitios, yung mga ganung level ng consumers, how can they benefit from yung pinopropose natin na transition?
First about the incentives. The Renewable Energy Law, Republic Act 9513, is providing a lot of incentives. Like income tax holidays, tax import, walang import duties. Marami talaga. So, this is done in order to encourage more developer of renewable energy, like hydro, solar, etc. Regarding the second question, how to bring it down to the barangays, that is, I think, the role that you're being a professional in the communication process would have a critical role. So, malaking bagay yun para darating sa barangay through radios, through press, through a lot of social media interaction. So we need to have, in fact, we are planning to come up with investment roadshows in coming months until December in order to promote more interested investors to come into this project. That's our direction.
Guwapo yung question, pero on the positive side, because of the magnitude of the problem and the need, dili ka satisfied, but I will show you figures. Ang Cagayan, we're proud to have the biggest grid-connected solar farm in 2004 sa Inahag. Diba? Karong 2025, kana siya remain as 1 megawatt. After 20 years, actually karon retrofit sila. Basta bumalik siya at 2 megawatt. So, punta na to, 2026, nasa 100% increase. So, but I look at the data sa rooftop solar sa Cagayan de Oro. Nakong contribution ang kumpanya ni Sir Dodo Gani. 2017 to present. Narata sa 5 megawatts, around 5 megawatts ang installed na rooftop. Decentralized na siya. stand-alone nga bandit meter. Now, gusto ko to sa 2004, 500% ang increase sa rooftop. Bigger even than the grid connected. So that's a very good figure sa adoption by the community. But as I said, hindi maging lagi siya enough. So putong the last 3 days we have been discussing kung saan and it's part, now you are part of the conversation. No, you are already part of the conversation. Munang nagkapatagimungon yun yung mga conversation. No, kikahapon, I was very encouraged with the input of one speaker. There is money, but there is even bigger demand. So it's just a matter really of bringing out ang academe, wapo kayo ng contributions. They were saying, we move forward with this conversation on energy transition, the youth. So we have to involve everybody. No, para isa a social movement that we are working on. Okay, energy transition is not just changing our source of power, but also changing our mindset on how we use power and where do we want. Mula sa among ganing sa Pinoy Action, may local NGO, ang among ambition is to create market demand from consumers. No? We're pressed for time. Related sa question ni Mark, I hope parehas atong kampanya sa anti-corruption nga dili mahuman sa 2028 ang atong plano po ng aspiration nato para sa energy sa Mindanao energy transition. Dili mahigot sa politika atong i-sustain kini. There has to be sustainability and continuity of our efforts.
Okay. So,